Number 37 car, that is Leo Robinson for R Racing. One of 6 cars entered by R Racing this weekend. Leo is the only other race winner this year, 6th in the standings right now. So he's had a win, but he's also had a bit of trials and tribulations over the course of his season. He's an Algerian youngster, and he can blame his father for his racing travails. Dad bought him a kart at the age of 3, and Leo has really shown his mettle in karting. A 2-time British champ, an Italian champion as well, and of course Italy is a real hotbed for go-karting. The WSK promoters, for example, are based in Italy. Over 100 karting trophies at home for Leo Robinson. One of a few kids on the grid who's currently studying in year 9, which makes me feel like an ancient artifact. I'm only 25, but yes. Of course, Leo also has a music scholarship at school, plays the piano and the trombone. So Leo, a multi-talented youngster. I could never find the time to try and practice more than one thing, so quite how he's so good at being a car racer and a musician remains a mystery to me. We ride on board with Harry Moss then as he turns through Vale and Club for the first time on his first flying lap. Slater has set the benchmark, but Palmovsky has immediately gone quicker. A 2:38.668 is the current benchmark courtesy of Alicia Palmovsky, so we'll see whether Harry Moss can get anywhere near that. Shifts into 6th gear as he sweeps the car through Abbey and Farm. There's the number 21 of Palmovsky then. Could see her relying on the 4-wheel drift a little bit there through Maggots and Beckett. Already at the limit, as you can hear the Michelin tyres saying, do we have to? As they turn in and head out towards the Hanger Straight. Out through Chapel, of course, and then on to the Hanger Straight. There is Moss once again in the 47 car. Nice to see that the family number has crossed over from Nick to Harry. We've just had a faster time than that of Palmovsky, and that has come from the number 50 car of Charlie Hart. So Charlie Hart for Elite Motorsport has gone to the top with a 2:37.990. So at the moment, the better part of 7/10 up, over 2/3 of a second up on the rest of the grid, the number 50 car, but I'm sure we're yet to see the best out of most of these drivers at this stage. There's the number 7. That's being driven by Freddie Slater. So Slater, who, as we mentioned, is currently holding this championship lead, and with 5 wins from 6 races, we'll be looking for nothing more than a front row start. Let's face it, nothing more than pole position. Once these drivers get into the habit of winning, they don't tend to accept anything less. Harry Moss has not yet got himself onto a podium, but is certainly making progress. He's one of the drivers with a little less karting experience than those around him, a little less experience generally, certainly making his first strides into competition. And you'll see shifting down from 6th gear, remaining in 4th gear. I was wondering if maybe Stowe would be a 3rd gear corner, but no, it's not. It's 4th in these little juniors. You can carry quite a lot of momentum, even though these cars are running treaded tyres. No slicks in the Ginetta juniors. Through Vale and Club in 2nd gear, shifts up to 3rd. I do love to see a sequential gearbox in motor racing. The sequential gearbox is slightly falling out of favour, of course, in favour of flappy paddles, but there's something very pleasing about downshifting by slamming a lever forward into a braking zone. We'll see him do it here. He'll push the lever forward to go down the gears. There you go. That's proper GT racing style there. I was speaking to Jamie Campbell-Water, a former FIA GT champion last year. He said, you know what, my shoulder is ruined from 20 plus years of big heavy sequential gearboxes in Lister Storms and cars of that nature. These days, of course, the sequential box will be a lot lighter than what he was having to deal with. Iron and granite, I think, in that Lister back in the day. There's the 51 car trying to make an overtake in qualifying. I'm sure that's got a few people sweating. That's Eddie Robinson and Felix Livesey having a bit of a preamble, a pre-scrap. And are they doing a bit of bump drafting for good measure? It looks like they could be. Don't believe they're out of the same stable, so they shouldn't be working together, really. Felix Livesey in the 31 then continues to lead the two of them. Had no prior experience, Felix, before entering last year's Winter Series. Eddie Robinson, conversely, is a Spanish karting champion. Edu is a Spanish national as well. Has moved into Ginetta Juniors for this year. Gets the inside line through Beckett's and gets some clear track. Now the question is Felix Livesey going to say, no, I want to lead this pack? Because young racing drivers, if they're grouped together on the circuit, they are going to think it's a race. It doesn't matter if it's quali. And sure enough, Eddie Robinson was going a little bit defensive there into Stowe Bend. Oh dear, I'm sure there's some grimaces down in their respective garages. Now this car is currently our provisional pole sitter, Charlie Hart in the number 50, just going under the bridge here on the Wellington Straight at the moment. Turning into Brooklands with 9 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. And he's still almost 7/10 clear of anyone else. We've just had a personal best lap time from Freddie Slater, but it was only a 2:38.628. So he's managed to wipe about 0.04 of a second off his best time. But Charlie Hart is still showing the way for everyone out there on circuit. Charlie's last time a 2:39.223, so, or 2:33 I should say. So he's actually a little bit off his own pace at the moment. Is anyone going to get into the 2:37s before the end of the session? Right now Charlie Hart is the only one. There's the number 16 car we just saw briefly in the hands of Tom Spragg, one of the many Prep Tech drivers. Freddie Slater, after that personal best lap time at Stowe, will be looking to improve on his lap, as will Harry Moss in the 47 car. So Moss downshifting there, and you see him there fighting a little bit with the car to get it turned into Brooklands. Bit of a hostile negotiation under braking for young Harry. He's currently 16th fastest. A 2:42.206 is his benchmark. Let's see if he can try and get a little bit further up the order this time then. He'll cross the line momentarily, and the lap time is a 2:42.302, so Harry Moss remains in 16th fastest for the time being. Just looking at some of the sector times, we don't have that many PBs out there. We do have a good first sector though from one of our cars just outside the top 10, or just within the top 10 I should say. The number 90 of Chase Fernandez is having quite a good run out there at the moment. A 48.3 in the first sector. That's not too bad at all. Let's see, the best sector of all is a 48.3 as well. So Chase Fernandez in the 90 could well be up the timing sheets from 8th place if he can continue on in the manner that his first sector indicates. The 37 car runs through Aintree Bend. So the 37 is Leo Robinson. Robinson, who is set a decent first sector. We'll see what sector 2 is like for him. Has had a bit of a tow, I think, on this lap. And there's Chase Fernandez in the 90. Now, Chase seems to have backed out of the lap. He was warming up his tyres there on the Wellington Straight. After setting a very, very strong first sector, it seems as though Chase may have backed out of the lap, although actually he's personal best still through sector 2, but he comes into the pits. 2 personal best sectors and into the pits. Maybe he was on extremely low fuel. That might explain that, but I thought Chase Fernandez was going to move up the order somewhat there. And that has proven not to be the case. We've got a flurry of cars into the pits. You see on the graphics there, the top 11 have all come in, and the rest appear to be following. So it seems like we may be having a bit of a regroup and then send them out there for a flyer right at the end. At least that's what I hope we're going to see. I hope it's not a case of everybody saying, you know what, I think we've done the best we can do here. There are only a few cars left out there, and they're all coming in. With 5 minutes and 5 seconds left to go, just about everybody is currently in the pit lane. Harry Moss joins them as well. I think Freddie Allen may have continued on. Nope, Freddie Allen has also come into the pit. So yes, I think we are having a unilateral visit to pit lane. And actually everybody's going to assembly area as well. So I'm wondering if we've had an early checkered flag that hasn't come up on the timing screen. Because it appears as though they've ended this session early. Because everybody is going into assembly. We were due a full 20 minutes for Quali. But the checkered flag has already seemingly been waved. That's not displayed on our timing screen either. But the fact that everybody has gone to assembly rather suggests that they've pulled an early halt to this session. And what that means then, in theory, is that Charlie Hart will be our provisionally will be our pole sitter for the first race for the Michelin Ginetta Juniors. That is set to take place at 11:26 this morning. They're very specific about that time. 11:26 in the morning will be the first race of the weekend for the Michelin Ginetta Juniors, the first of 6 races that we'll see from them over the course of the weekend. And Charlie Hart will go into that race absolutely buoyant. A 2:37.990 for Charlie Hart. Checkered flag has now been declared on the session on the timing screen, so that confirms that the session has come to an end early. Charlie Hart then with a 2:37.990 will be the benchmark going into the race. If he can use that kind of pace to get out of the slipstream early on in the race, then that will do him all manner of favours. Charlie Hart yet to secure a win this season. Could he do it from pole position today? His closest competition will be Freddie Slater, the championship leader, the serial race winner. So keep an eye on Slater. Alicia Palmowski in third. Hugo Schwarzer, the young German, will line up fourth in the number 33 Elite Motorsport car. Leo Robinson in the number 37 will be next. Following that is Razor Seaworthen in the 78. Mikey Porter and Chase Fernandez will be on row 4 of the grid in the 19 and 9T cars respectively. A huge shame for Chase there that he couldn't complete that last lap because it was looking strong. I think Chase will work his way through the order later on. Luca Hopkinson and Henry Jocelyn round out the top 10 ahead of Finn Harrison, Tom Spragg, Mackenzie Douglas and Freddie Allen rounding out the top 14. Eddie Robinson 15th ahead of Harry Moss in the 47. Felix Livesey in the 31 alongside Alfie Davis in the 74. Bree Anglis and Holly Mile round out our 20-car order in that qualifying session.